bit of a break, but now we are back. My name is Ryan Smith. I'm your host, and my guest today, he is a repeat guest here on the podcast. Been a little bit since you've seen him. Now a sophomore quarterback at Arkansas State University, former East Forsyth standout quarterback. He is Jaylen Raynor. Jaylen, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Of course, yeah. Let's just start. It's been a little bit since we've had you, so let's just start with the obvious. How is it being in college? I mean, you're no longer in North Carolina. You're in another state, Central Time Zone, not even on Eastern Time anymore. So,
Yeah,
what's it like being in college, and how is Arkansas State?
definitely. I've gotten way more used to it just being here for a year and a half now. So I feel like it's pretty regular to me now. Like just being on my own, kind of just being a college student, being able to balance school, my personal life, football, everything together. So it's going pretty smooth. I like it out here. It's been super hot, but trying to stay in the pool a little bit, but having a
Yeah,
lot of fun with my teammates and just getting to hang out with those guys. So it's been good.
yeah. Well, we've had some 97-degree days here in North Carolina. I know you know that, but it's pretty
Yeah.
hot here as well. Well, as I get into it here, just for those who may not be as familiar with you, who are new to this podcast or new to Tobacco Road Sports Radio, where we are hosting this podcast on either YouTube version or podcast. Um, why Arkansas State? Why did you end up committing there from East Forsyth, obviously where you played high school ball here in North Carolina? Why did you end up going to Arkansas State at the end of the day?
Definitely the opportunity that was presented to me with their quarterback situation, but then also the connections that I built while going through the recruiting process. I just felt like a loving and family environment from the whole coaching staff, everybody in the building, and then the players that I met that were already here. Just the love that I felt from them, and it was just the amount of support and, like I said, the family like environment from here. I loved it from the start.
Yeah. Well, for those who may not be as familiar with kind of your journey, I'm going to give a little bit of a recap as asking my next question. So, obviously, you were here in North Carolina. You went to East Forsyth High School. You were ranked 18th best player on three, with 26th best dual threat quarterback. Where senior year, 12-1 record. East Forsyth, third round of the playoffs, honorable All State, and then before going to Arkansas State, where you are at now, you were offered by Army, Air Force, Navy, UMass, Miami of Ohio, among others. And you get to Arkansas State, where after being a standout at East Forsyth, and really freshman year, you just kind of you started out kind of slow, and then you just took it by storm at the end. So, some about conference freshman of the year at quarterback, the first true quarterback since 2007 to earn that award. That's pretty special. The on-three true freshman All-American team, Davey O'Brien watch list mid-season last year, offensive player of the week. I could keep going, obviously, but a lot of things here. But you made your debut against Stony Brook. That's where you first started, 9 rushes for 57 yards, and then Southern Miss, as a Charlotte 49er alum myself, former rival in Southern Miss, you got to beat up on them, first true freshman quarterback starter since 2001. So a lot going for you there. So ended up with 17 touchdowns, along of 68 yards, 7 interceptions on the year, and then 380 rushing yards, 123 carries with 5 touchdowns, a long rush of 62 yards against Southern Miss. So a little bit of a recap there on your freshman year, all that to say. What are some things you learned from your freshman year, some overviews and things you take away from your first year in college football?
Definitely going back and watching the film from this past season, you see a lot of bright spots, but then you just see so many things that you can fix and how much you can improve from last year. Like just the little details of like elimination through progressions, seeing things pre-snap and being able to react faster post-snap. Um, just little like blitz keys from defenses, um, little telltales by each defense, and just little simple things like that. You can go back and just see like how much better you can be. So it makes you very excited. So I'm super excited for this season coming up.
Yeah. What are your off-season goals for this year? Plans? Don't be as specific as you can be. What are some things that are on your plate for this off-season and summer workouts? I know we're about a month or so before the season starts, just over a month. But what are some things you've been doing on your plate for this offseason heading into sophomore year?
This offseason, I'll definitely focus on just getting to build those connections more and more with my team, defense, offense, and then just getting to know everybody more and more on a personal level. So when we're on the field, we have that level of not wanting to let our brother down, like just being able to give it our all to come out on top at the end of the day. But then also just little goals like um, working on my feet, my footwork, um, staying in the film room, just preparing for each opponent already, and then going back and looking at the film from last year, like I said, to see the little things that I can continue to improve in the offseason.
Yeah. Before we get into your schedule this year, Butch Jones is there, and talk about playing for him at Arkansas State. What do you most like playing about Coach Jones, and not just him, but the other coaching staff as well? You want to highlight any other coaches that have had an impact on your time so far there in Arkansas State?
I think a lot of my teammates would agree, but I love playing for Coach Jones. But I would say the probably the best thing about him is that he's going to try his hardest to get the best out of each and every player on his team. He's going to treat you like you're already in the NFL. He's trying to get everybody in the same mindset that this is your NFL because you might not make it to the NFL, so you might as well practice, play, and prepare like you're already in the NFL. So I'll say that is a big thing I take from him. Just getting everybody to be their best. And then a big shout out to all the coaches. I would say a big thing I could say from recruiting and then getting to school, all the coaches stay the same. I know a lot of schools that could be different. How coaches are different a little bit in the recruiting process, and then once you get there, they kind of switch up. But for Arkansas State, I would say everybody's acted the same. Still a family environment. Coaches are very supportive and always trying to push you to be better. So big shout out to our coaching staff.
And Butch Jones, obviously, most people know he was at University of Tennessee back in the day. You mentioned kind of how he is on the field as a coach, but take us behind the scenes. What's something that most people don't know about Coach Jones that it could be something funny, a story that you found, from is it football related, not football related, something that you could tell on a podcast, something that most people may not know about Coach Jones. What would that be?
Definitely how approachable he is. He might not seem very like friendly or something, maybe like just from a viewer's perspective, but on a personal level, you can come and talk to him about anything. He's very open. He always has his door open, so you can go talk to him about whatever, whenever. And then he has a great sense of humor, so he's always ready to crack jokes and just play around and have fun.
Yeah. Now, looking at your schedule, we'll get into that in just a second. What are some goals, though, going into your sophomore year for yourself? What are some things that you have set aside? Obviously, you have team goals. I get all that. So you can name those too. But what are some individual goals for yourself that you've set for this season going into your sophomore year?
To be honest, I haven't really thought too hard about personal goals so far, but my main focus and like big goal I want to accomplish is definitely a conference championship, and I think focusing on that goal, kind of just going week by week to get there. I think the personal goals will come like already inevitably, but that's the biggest goal that I'm really looking forward to.
Got it. So we highlight your schedule here. I don't know if you've looked at it. I know coaches saying one game at a time, as they say, and I'm sure players are following that same mantra. But have you seen the schedule this year? Have you looked at it at all, or is it just, or have you not seen it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So I'm going to go to Michigan on September 14th and then Iowa State on September 21st. But I don't want to assume, so I'll just ask you the question to start off. What road environment are you most looking forward to playing at this season?
Definitely Michigan. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Going to the big house. I think it's the biggest college stadium,
Yep.
or it is? Okay, yeah. Going there, that's super cool to experience, and I'm very excited for that.
Well, and they are the defending national champs, so you will have your chance to knock them off and to giving them a little bit of a taste of something they hadn't had last year, which was an L. They were undefeated last year, the entire season. So, what makes you most excited
Yeah.
to go there? What is it just the atmosphere being and playing against the Big Ten, or is it just being in a place like the Big House with so much history, tradition? What makes you that excited to go specifically there?
Definitely just the environment. Knowing that that environment can be so hostile and so crazy. And then just like I guess the culture and history behind it. And then I know I have a lot of family members and friends come up for that game, so
Yeah.
it'll be super cool. We also have a teammate from here. Well, I had a teammate here. One of our kickers, he transferred there, so get to play against him and compete a little bit. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that should be fun. Um, what before I get into some other questions regarding football, let's talk non-football for a few minutes. For those who may not know you very well, what are some things you enjoy to do off the field when you're not playing football? Obviously, you're a college student now, so I'm sure education is part of that too. But what are some things that you enjoy doing outside of the football field when you have some time? And I know that's not a lot.
Yeah, off the field, I'd say most of the time I like to just chill with my roommate, maybe some of my teammates. We might just watch TV, play the game. A lot of times we go bowling, still competitive, you know. I like to bowl. So try to beat them in bowling all the time. Try to stay away from the basketball court because I get too serious on the court. So gotta
Yeah,
stay away from the court.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure Coach Jones would not like if you got injured on the basketball court.
Yeah. We try to stay away from the basketball, but um, really just play the game. We go get some extra work, throw routes or something. But then we go bowling, and then college football 25 just came out, so
That
a lot of people,
I think you're
my
cheating.
teammates
That
have
was
been
my
going
next
crazy
question.
already.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
So have you gotten a chance to play that? Let's go there. Have you got the chance to play it? One, if you haven't, what are you most excited about?
Yes, I have played. I played it the first day it came out, so Monday. I played it for a few hours, so I had to put it down for yesterday and today so far.
What do you enjoy most about it? What is I mean, I have not played it yet myself, but the graphics, the transfer portal is in there, the NIL is in there. I mean, there's so much stuff that's in there. I mean, now I know
Mhm.
I'm dating myself a little bit, but I remember the 14, the 11, the '08. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but those games were my thing growing up. So I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. So just what did you like about it? What are the things that stand out?
Probably the attention to detail. Like in our stadium, the waterfalls, the the hand gestures of the fans, the cheerleaders do the same thing. It's just super cool. They have our like our school song in the background when we play. It's just super cool. All the details they took the time to add into it, and then um, probably just I don't know. It's just super cool seeing yourself on the game. It's like great feeling.
That I was gonna say, what is that like? Is it? Can you describe it? Is it just like just surreal? Like what does it feel like?
I think I would describe it as pretty surreal. Um, like just growing up playing Madden, playing NCAA 14.
Yeah,
It's just like super cool to have your name in it and not a creative player. It's like they made it already. So it's
yeah.
super cool. And then just knowing a lot of people at different schools, getting to play with them too, or play against their teams, and then kind of just trash talking and stuff like that. It's super cool. So that's fun.
Yeah, well, and I realize there are certain things with a video game that's not going to be conditioned to real life. So um, I think I saw somewhere it went viral where some Ohio State fan was playing against Michigan and they won like 92-14 or something. So I mean, like like obviously, like we're not going to get a college football story like that in real life, but yes, and that's cool. That's exciting that you got to play it, and I can't wait to play it myself. Back to football before we kind of close things out here. Um, Again, Jaylen Alexander Raynor is my guest today here on Triad All Stars. He is the rising sophomore quarterback for the Arkansas State Red Wolves, former East Forsyth standout in North Carolina. Jaylen, my other podcast is a Panthers podcast, Inside the Vault. Are you a NFL fan? Did you grow up an NFL fan? If so, was it the Panthers? Was it another team? What is your NFL affiliation? Since currently you are not in the league, so you're still in college.
Nah, I'm a big Panthers fan, actually.
Okay. Well, if you haven't checked out Inside the Vault, you should get on that. It's a good podcast. My other podcast that I do, a lot of good guests there. But well, Jaylen, as we wrap up here, let's go through kind of your off season and just coming up. What are kind of your plans over the next month and a half? Obviously, the season's right around the corner. When you talk to people, right, it's expectations, goals, all of these things, survive summer camp, and then we get to the games, and then it's like, okay, football's back. But as a player, someone who is currently living it right now, you can't look at Michigan, you can't look at Iowa State, can't look at the conference championship, like you said, though that is a good goal of yours. What is kind of the focus over these next 7 to 8 weeks before the season begins, and some of the things that you're doing as a team?
So now we have workouts the rest of this week, and then next week I think we're done on Thursday. So from Friday to that next Monday, I think we're off until fall camp starts. So so these next 2 weeks we're gonna finish workouts. Probably still get as much throwing in with my receivers as possible, in case they go home or something over the few days before a break. But then once we get into training camp, we're just going to attack every day, trying to get better and really take advantage of each opportunity, because we only get a limited amount. They're already scheduled, so you can't have any more, you can't have any less. So might as well make the most of each day, and then just continue to hang out with them outside the facility, build those bonds. So like I said, we're playing for each other and not necessarily ourselves, and don't want to let our brother down on the field.
Yeah. For fans or listeners who may not be as familiar, either because they didn't play football or they just don't know the realities of certain things within the game, talk to us about why having that timing down with your receivers. You mentioned going and throwing. Obviously that timing is great, but how hard is it as a quarterback? You have a receiver that comes in on game day because somebody goes down, or somebody that gets picked up out of the portal and there's not a lot of time, and then they're suddenly on your team. So talk to me about importance of having that timing down with the receivers, and why that's important going into the season, and how that can translate throughout the year.
Definitely, the more and more you spend time together, and then the more times you work out or throw or just anything like out of the scheduled times, I feel like it just builds a stronger bond. So you're able to connect with them on the field. So if you spent 10 hours with one person and then an hour with one person, you're going to have a stronger bond with the person you spent 10 hours with. So I was just saying, continue to build relationships off the field and outside the scheduled times. Just build that connection to build trust, and have trust when it's crunch time. If it's fourth quarter, when you're down, or fourth down and crunch times, just things like that. It just gives you a sense of confidence when you've practiced and done those things before.
Well, Jaylen, you've been a great guest here on the podcast. As we close it out, would you say a couple more here for you? When it comes to your quarterback style in high school at East Forsyth, and then obviously through 1 year so far in college at Arkansas State, would you say, has your quarterback style changed in college? Is there something specifically that you have, or is it kind of added into your game, or is it pretty much the same type of quarterback you were in high school, and nothing's really changed, just some mechanics and other things like that? But what would you say is kind of what type of quarterback are you now currently versus when you were in high school?
I'll say I'll point out a big difference between high school and college is like the timing and rhythm of plays. In college you have to have a sense of rhythm, where in high school you kind of do your own footwork to kind of whatever you're comfortable with. But with different concepts and things like that in college, everything is pretty much based on the timing. uh, trying to eliminate the pressure on your offensive line. So you're trying to get the ball out as fast as you can, eliminate through your progressions, and make the job easier for the O line to take stress off them, and also to keep yourself clean. So I'd say um, it's changed probably the quickness and processing for sure, and then definitely I've been working a lot on my pocket presence, not being so quick to get out the pocket, but trusting in my O line and trying to get the ball out quicker for them.
Got it. Well, last couple here for you as we wrap down. Wish you best of luck in summer camp, training camp, and throughout the season. Thanks for coming on the podcast here today. But before I let you go, was there anything else you'd like to plug while we've got you? Anything you want to give a shout out to, or things you're working on that you'd like our listeners and fans to know?
Just a big shout out to my family. I appreciate y'all love and support. And then big shout out to all the coaches, my coaches, and training staff, equipment managers. I appreciate all of y'all. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. Well, that will wrap up this edition of Triad All Stars. Jaylen Raynor, quarterback at Arkansas State, has been my guest today. Jaylen, best of luck this season, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you very much.